If your product or service requires the approval of the C-suite before the decision can be made, then you need to stick around for today's video because we're going to break it down. We're going to discuss how to attract, engage, and convert the C-suite to become customers. If that sounds interesting, let's have a conversation because marketing matters. Hello, my name is Bill Arnold. I am president of Prevail Marketing every single day. Every single day, we give you a video on how to grow your business through better sales and marketing. These are ideas, concepts, techniques that we actually use for our clients that actually have been proven to be effective. We're not just giving theoretical stuff, we're giving you practical applications. If that's valuable to you, we ask for one thing in return. Like, follow, subscribe, or comment. We ask that not because we're full of ourselves, but we're trying to figure out which channels will work best to reach you and provide you the information we think you might help your business. So thank you for that, and let's begin. The C-suite represents one of the most, really the holy grail of marketing because they really have great difficulty in reaching them and even more difficulty in converting them and getting their decision from them. They have such power, such influence. They are the ultimate decision makers in a company. And often they're shielded by gatekeepers, middle management, influencers, people that are not likely to want you to talk to them directly because they want to have their own influence on that C-suite. So how do you get around that? Where do you begin? What we do is we recognize that's a reality. It's not going to change. You're not going to get around them because they will cut you off at your knees. So you bring them on board. You bring them inside the tent. You make them part of the solution. Not an adversary, but a tool that you can use in order to talk to the C-suite. So you focus on the influencers. Let's talk about how you do that. We've got a number of different videos and blogs about the power of influencer marketing. In fact, tomorrow we're going to have a video on the psychology of the C-suite and talk a little more about that influence. But you really want to understand there are 4 distinct groups that have influence over that C-suite, that CEO. Number 1, other members of the C-suite. Well, that's a problem because they're equally difficult to get to them unless you have a personal relationship. Let's leave that on the side for a moment. Let's talk about another category: customers, employees, and outside parties' influences. Those are the groups that you need to enlist to your aid, to bring on board. And one of the best ways is to use customers because these are the people that the CEO ought to respect more than anybody. They're the ones keeping them in business, buying their product. And so if your customers, enough of them, are having a communication and saying certain things, then maybe, just maybe, you're going to get that C-suite's attention. In fact, not just maybe, you will. So how do you do that? How do you go about getting that attention? Well, as I said, I've got a blog that talks about it in detail, but there's some practical application. One is do surveys of their customers. Do surveys. Just because you're not their agent, if you will, doesn't mean you can't do a survey about a particular company and their product. Go online, do an online survey, get feedback. Ask questions that are directed to get the right answers, though, that are going to outline the fact the problem exists, and the CEO may not realize the problem exists. And of course, what is the solution? Yeah, the solution is your particular product. That's number 1. Number 2, there are a few other ways. If the company has resellers, who are in fact they're customers, okay, if they're resellers of the product, they're as much customers as they are to end being customers. Talk to them. You can figure out who they are because they're offering to resell that product, that resell their service. If you're talking about marketing, the product is HubSpot, talk to marketers. Ask them questions, get some feedback, develop a report, develop a survey, and then you're going to present that to management or you're going to give it to one of their employees who's going to be your hero, because that's the second category, right? Employees. So the problem with employees is the fear factor. They're afraid to take information to senior management, the CEO, and afraid to look embarrassed or foolish. So you need to arm them with lots of information, lots of quality content that's going to make sure they feel the trust and that it's valid. So if you have a survey that's well formatted, have feedback from ultimate customers, that's a great way to motivate an employee to take that product, take that service, take that recommendation to senior management and the CEO. A large part of what you're going to do for employees is insulate them, provide them with protection, with the confidence that they will have enough information that they will not look foolish. Because ultimately what you want to do is convince them that you want them to be the hero. You want them to be the person who brings this great idea, this concept, this solution to a problem they may not even know they have to senior management. Other way you can do this is outside influencers. That's the third category. There's lots of influencers out there that, the CEO pays attention to. Respected people in the industry. that you know that has a lot of influence over CEOs. Might be brand advocates. Brand advocates, people out there who are talking about that industry. For example, we had a client one time who had industry was accountants. That was one of their targeted customers. But there's a lot of experts out there on accounting. A lot of preeminent people with a huge social reach. What did we do? We went to that person and we said, look, we'll give you content, we'll give you information, we'll help bolster what you present to your social reach. Because we think there's a problem here, and we think you ought to be the person who is shouting to the rafters what it's about. We talked to that social influencer, and you know what they did? He agreed and started putting out posts, putting out content, putting out ebooks that we help create and supply. We provided him with that. Under his name, his brand, he did it. And then we took that information that this influencer was putting out. In fact, we did with a few influencers. We took the culmination of all this influence and presented it to the C-suite, to the CEO, and say, this is what your experts in your field have identified as a problem. These are the issues they see. These are the solutions they think are out there. Maybe we could have a conversation. And the reality is, it worked. The CEO, we created the content, we developed the content, but isn't that what marketing is about? Using influencers about? Getting them. They wouldn't have put this information out if they didn't agree to it, if they didn't believe it. We just pointed out that it existed, areas that they did not understand or know at the time. So these are just 3 basic concepts you can have. We've got a whole series on how to influencer marketing. We've got probably about 6 or 7 different videos and blogs about it. And tomorrow we're going to talk about specifically the psychology of the C-suite, because it's different, it's unique, and you need to understand it. You need to understand it if you're going to motivate it and convert it. So till tomorrow, have a good day.